into Bills Postgame Live. We are presented by the divorce estate planning law firm of Clark Peshkin, and the Bills win in a close one with the final score of 20-17. They are alive and still fighting as the playoff race continues.
Can you feel my pulse? Our pulse is still, our heart's still beating here. Yes,
we're doing okay. We're doing
awesome.
okay.
Good stuff.
We're actually doing awesome. We're not just okay. We are awesome because the defense was able to close out a game when the questions were swirling about this defense and what they were able to do at the end of the game. They silenced those doubters because they were able to close it out with a huge fourth down stop to seal the victory. Sean McDermott is now the second winningest head coach of the Buffalo Bills with 69 total wins. He passes Lou Saban, who had 68. Sean McDermott also 7-0 off of the bye. Undefeated since becoming the head coach in Buffalo.
They also snapped a 10-game winning streak that Pat Mahomes had coming into this game. He had never lost 2 games in a row in the 10 times previous losses. He was 10-0 coming off a loss. And the Bills handed him 2 losses in a row for the first time in a long time. A lot of stuff on the line. When these two teams get together, it's always going to be fun. It centers around Mahomes. It centers around Josh. And those two guys did not disappoint tonight. It was a hard-fought battle. Give Steve Spagnuolo a kudos. Give Sean McDermott kudos for playing a really good game. 2 teams with those quarterbacks, first 1 to 20 wins. Wow, what a game.
The Bills have also won the last 3 regular season matchups against the Chiefs. They are really good against this team. You know it's going to come down to the wire when these two guys play.
And all 3 of those games were in Kansas City.
Yeah. Would you look at that?
It is a lot like, and we said it during the week on the Daily Show, and I know we've spoken about it, Maddy. This is a lot like a division game for the Bills because of the rise of Mahomes and Allen. These two teams kind of at the top of their division, and they cross over every year. They hit the crossover schedule every year. They're going to see each other. They know each other really well, and this is another classic matchup.
All right, Mitch Morse. Talking about Patrick Mahomes. Mitch Morse is on the podium answering some questions as we get started with our players. Let's hear from him.
Hey, Mitch, can you speak to the level of discourse that's been going on this week in the state with all that went on?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, well, I think from the outside end, it definitely looked like an onslaught of things that could, help make a team lose our focus. But on the contrary, I think coming off the bye, we were so laser focused and understanding on the job at hand and what that would take if we want to achieve our ultimate goal, which is to make the playoffs. We'd had to stack these days one day at a time, compound those. I know I said that 1,000 times, but eventually end up on Sunday after having a great week of practice. And sure, that there was some times there where we could have been distracted, and I think the resiliency of this team, not only on the field but off the field, was apparent this week, and we had some great practices and really came together and focused on the ultimate goal, which was to win in a very hostile environment, which was Arrowhead.
Josh had made that long third down, playing like Tavius falling out of bounds. Do you ever catch yourself being amazed while the game is going on?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you get caught up in protection schematics and you wonder why he's running. Just truly, not like why would he do that, but why is there, who's coming free? Was that a protection issue or something like that? So it's one of those things that you really kind of take a step back after the game and really appreciate, because like I said earlier, you just kind of focus on what was going on. And
I know you guys were focused on it, but it's a rough week for Sean. I know he never says things like, but how do you feel for him with a game like this, with everything that went on this week?
I thought he came in, that could have, we felt for him. Really, we felt for his family. We felt for the individual, because we know who Sean is. I've been with him for 5 years, and Sean is not only an astounding football coach, a very resilient one, but is a good man. And first and foremost, I mean, if guys have anything come up family-wise or anything like that, personally, there's a story from me. I've dealt with anxiety in my past, and something I'm fairly open with. And a few years ago, we're playing away, and I'm having a really tough time before a game, getting myself ready to go, and I don't know if I'm going to play or not. And Sean pulled me aside in his office and just really sat me down as a man and said, there's so much more to life than football. You have a great family, and whatever happens on that field today is not going to relate to that. And just go out there and fly around. And ever since then, it was just one of the most unique things that he did 90 minutes before a football game, an important one a few years ago. And I know that wasn't what you asked, but personally speaking for myself, I'd do anything for that man.
So did any of this more for Mitch?
In the first half today, James Cook with a touchdown, another long catch. How much do you see him grow, become a part of this offense?
James Cook is a phenomenal football player, a guy who brings a lot of energy, even though he can seem stoic to say the least. It's a guy who runs hard, is wants to run the ball, wants to take a few hits, and like you saw, is available for Josh in those tough times.
Did you feel
Last
the
one.
team feel that the season was maybe on the line today with this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when this team is not only, of course we want to focus on one day at a time and 1 week at a time, but we understood that to give ourselves the best position we have to kind of take a playoff mentality right now. And that doesn't mean you need to do anything else, add any more pressure to yourself, but tighten up the P's and Q's. And I think speaking for the offensive line, there's a lot of room for growth today in that regard. So great challenge coming up this coming week. Appreciate you. Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that was Bills center Mitch Morse. He started his career in Kansas City, actually spent his first few seasons in the NFL with the Chiefs, got to snap over to Patrick Mahomes for a season before heading over to Buffalo, where he's been for the last 5 seasons. This team is now home for him, even though he spends his off seasons over in Kansas City. This week's game against the Chiefs is presented by Gabe's Collision. Get back in the game with Gabe's Collision, locally owned and operated since 1964, featuring 3 convenient locations. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to learn more. All right, Josh Allen was 23 of 42, 233 passing yards, a passing touchdown, a touchdown on the ground, 1 interception, and finished with a 68 passer rating. Interesting because coming into this game, the last 3 games against the Chiefs, including the playoffs, he had gone over 300 passing yards and at least 3 total touchdowns and had a passer rating close to 130. This game quite different, though, statistically for Josh Allen.
Both these clubs are different versions than we've seen of them in the past. They're both having different kind of seasons. The Bills offensively are really struggling to find somebody to add on to Steph Diggs. Teams are doing their best to make it really tough to get the ball to Steph. Kincaid's helped a little bit, but there's James Cook early in the game was a problem for Kansas City, but as the game wore on, it got more and more difficult to find somebody running open. That's going to be a real topic of discussion in the coming weeks. They're going to have to find other options. And it showed in Josh's statistics, struggling to find a high completion percentage, even though he's throwing to Diggs and Kincaid, who catch just about everything that gets thrown to them.
Right.
Mahomes and Kelsey on the other side, the same thing. They are struggling to find alternatives. It's tough to pack an offense with offensive weapons when everybody in the league is searching for the same thing. It's a limited pool of resources. You got to either develop the guys on your roster, the young guys, or you got to pluck them from somebody else and sign them as free agents. And that's hard to do when you're already paying a lot of guys a lot of money at other positions. So both these clubs are kind of mirroring each other and kind of leaning on a big-time quarterback to drag them to victory in some tough spots.
Yeah, it's the first time the Chiefs are averaging under 28 points per game with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. Their defense far better than their offense so far this season. All right, Josh Allen is on the podium, so let's get right over to him.
Hey, what went through your mind as you're sitting on the bench and you see the flag on the field while they're celebrating the touchdown?
Well, I originally thought it was on us. I didn't know what the flag is. It's not a flag that they usually call. I was just getting up ready to go score. We're going to have a minute and 20 seconds left. I think we had all 3 timeouts, so maybe had 2, but that was going through my mind.
You've made some plays going for the sideline, but maybe none quite like that. What was going through your mind when you made the play to Latavius?
3rd down on that drive, gotta find a way to make a play, and we were on the same page there. He made a heck of a catch.
What did James Cook do to the offense in this one?
No, he was awesome. he was awesome. He's been working hard. He had probably his best week of practice this week, and again, getting more comfortable with him catching passes out of the backfield, and he had a lot of opportunities tonight, and he took advantage of it, and thought he ran the ball well. Thought all three of our backs ran the ball well, so wasn't the prettiest of wins. We all know that. Lot to clean up, but defense played fantastic. Went out there, made a 2-minute stop, which is great to see, and they played great all night.
Obviously a very important win in these standings, but also probably an important win with what your team went through this week. What does this one mean to you?
Well, obviously this week wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for Coach McDermott. You can question a lot of things about coaching style. You can question a lot of things about my decision making. You can question a lot of things about this team, but to question his character and who he is as a man, there's no. He's one of the better humans on this planet. How he carries himself, and we saw it for what it is. We're just trying to focus on and winning each week, one game at a time.
Did that, in hindsight, looking back at it, Josh, did that at all help hone that focus, maybe?
Maybe. I just, everybody on the outside wants to make it a big deal, and in the locker room, it wasn't a talking point. Coach had a meeting with us, talked with us, and guys took that, and it was washed under the carpet there for us. We didn't care. So. Again, we're just trying to look forward and focus on going 1-0 each week.
Josh, you guys have had trouble closing out games. How important was it to close out this game?
Well, we could have put ourselves in a better position there at the end, scoring a touchdown. A couple throws I wish I had back, but again, our defense went out there and made a stop, which. It's great to see sitting there on the sideline, knowing that you can go out there and take a knee. You always want to finish the game with the ball, and the victory formation. That's what we did tonight.
You were controlling the game, 14-0. You were moving again, and then you threw the pick. Did you feel? Because really, from that moment on, it really was a struggle. Did you feel like that was a moment, looking back, that really did kind of flip? You won, but it kind of flipped the game, didn't it?
Yeah, and can't make that throw there. Gave them points right before the half, and from there on out, we were able to move the ball. We weren't finishing. Thought we were hurting ourselves a little bit with decision makings, with penalties, all of the above. So something we got to tighten up. And again, that's a really good team we just played. So it's a really good defense. They figured some stuff out, and we got to counter and find a way to keep going and put 6 and 7 on the board.
Josh, when they appeared to score that touchdown, the camera showed you sitting there, and I think you kind of had a smile on your face. Like, what else? For those 10 seconds before you realized that was going to get wiped out, how are you processing?
Yeah, I was, that is an exciting moment. That's the type of situation you want to be in. You want the ball in your hands with time left and 2 timeouts and a chance to go down there and score. So that was going through my mind, making sure that our offense knew we were going back out on the field and get ready to go score a touchdown.
After the ups and downs of the season, I don't know if validation is the right word, but does a win like this kind of remind everybody that what you guys want is still in front of you and that you ultimately can get there?
Yeah, and we've been kind of approaching this as this is the playoffs for us. Every game from here on out is that important, and we gotta keep going. And again, we'll celebrate this one tonight. Turn our attention towards the Cowboys tomorrow. Hey guys.
All right, this week's Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and tonight we are spotlighting James Cook because he had one heck of a game, 58 yards on the ground and 83 receiving yards, also had a receiving touchdown. We heard Mitch Morse say that he's had his best week of practice leading into this one, and he has been a feature of this offense since Joe Brady took over. What has surprised you, or what have you liked seeing about James Cook?
Well, one of the things we've talked about in the Daily Show is that Joe Brady has put Cook into the routes. He hasn't just let him protect and then check down and be an outlet for Josh Allen. He has been incorporated into the route concepts. The touchdown here that you're seeing now with James Cook coming down the seam, that was a scheme by Joe Brady that got him wide open. And really, Steve Spagnuolo got out-schemed by Joe Brady on that first touchdown pass to Cook. Great play by Josh Allen seeing it. And then here, as you see, when they released the protection and let Cook get out free, the Chiefs just weren't ready for it. And when Josh Allen, the subtle change of the protection, got the guy running free down the sideline, and James Cook was right there. Just an outstanding job by Josh, great job by James Cook, and also Joe Brady, all working together. The concept, Josh seeing it, switching over to it, and James Cook executing it perfectly. They did it at just the right time. And early in the game, James Cook was the Bills' offense. For the first time in a long time, it wasn't always Josh all the time. James Cook carried the load early in this game, and I think it was a welcome change that maybe will lead to some further evolution and take a little bit of the off Josh Allen's plate and let this team get a little bit more well-rounded offensively and find more ways to win more games.
And the Chiefs' defense is a top 5 defense in the NFL. They're giving up less than 300 yards per game, but where they have had a tough time is in the run game, defending the run. They rank 19th, allowing around 115 rushing yards per game. But when you look up yards per carry, they're 28th in the NFL, allowing 4.6 yards per carry. So you figured maybe they would go to the run. The Bills' offense would try to get things going using their run game because the Chiefs' defense has been struggling stopping the run this season. And I think we're finally seeing what the Bills thought James Cook would look like, would be like within this offense from a rushing standpoint to his time in the receiving game as well.
Yeah, the rushing game has really come alive under Joe Brady, and James Cook has been a huge part of it. Certainly we've got contributions now from Ty Johnson and also from Latavius Murray. Those guys have chipped in, but James Cook has been the workhorse, and it's been great to see. And I think the more he plays, the better it's getting. And I think they've used Ty Johnson and Latavius brilliantly to complement what James Cook's able to do. Latavius Murray is a great short yardage down back. That guy gets the hard 2 or 3 yards. When the defense sees it coming, he's still big and physical and fast enough to make it happen himself. And James Cook has really broadened his repertoire of what we see him run. It used to be he would shy away. It seemed to shy away from physical run up inside the tackles. Now he puts his foot in the ground and he gets up inside, and he turns a 1-yard run into a 4.5-yard run, and it has made all the difference for him. 118 yards on the ground for the team tonight compared to 82 for the Chiefs. 28 runs called, 4.2 per rush. It's an excellent average, and that's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, I remember James Cook in the first couple games, he would fall forward a little bit and not try to get those extra yards. He would go to the ground a little bit too quickly, and now you see in this game and in the last few games, he's been fighting for those extra yards, fighting for that first down, not afraid to drag defenders with him. And now you see heading into this game, he was 4th among all running backs when you're talking about scrimmage yards, also ranks top 10 in rushing yards, and we're seeing exactly why he's able to rank high in both of those categories. All right, we're going to go to Jordan Phillips, who was in the locker room answering some questions just moments ago.
I just felt good to finally, get that over that hump, you know what I'm saying? Felt good.
What is the difference in those situations, if anything, that you can pinpoint to?
I don't know, honestly. It finally worked for us, you know. Every game's been 3 points, came down to the wire. It's finally good to get off the field and, come in here with a smile on your face.
After the week you guys had, especially Coach McDermott, how much everything weighed on him, what does it mean to you guys to win this game?
Just having his back, man. Sean has our back no matter what's going on. He's a great head coach, and to come in and after the adversity he faced and whatnot, and being able to get this win for him on the big stage, I know that's he still has a lot of shit on his shoulders, but tonight it feels good.
Can you take me through the emotions of the play with the penalty where they score and then it gets taken off the board?
Shit, it's about time we got a call. So that's it, really. I ain't even gonna look at the play. I don't even care.
What was it like though? What was the feeling like going through that?
We felt it. We know what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? And finally, if one goes our way, it's just like, yes.
Describe the energy on the sideline during the game.
Hostile crowds is always fun to play with, you know what I'm saying? And then the guys were sticking together, in the crucial moments, people's heads down, you got to pick them back up, and we go out there and we finish.
What about after? I saw you guys coming in here, the energy and understanding what a win at this point in the season with where your record's at, what it means. How do you feel you guys felt and the energy in this room after?
I mean, we're going to enjoy this one. Who do we play next week? Dallas. Yeah, so we got Dallas coming in to Buffalo next week, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is over. We're going to enjoy it on the plane home, and we're going to get back to work.
Thanks, Jordan.
All right, that was Jordan Phillips, and he was talking about the calls that were going Buffalo's way against the Chiefs. And usually in games this season, the calls were going against the Bills at the end of the game, and it was nice to see a couple flags in there go against the Chiefs in favor of the Bills.
Well, one was a game changer, the Travis Kelce throw, which, guys like Travis Kelce, Pat Mahomes, they're really smart guys. Diggs is smart. Josh is there's a lot of really intelligent guys out there. The throw lateral that Travis Kelce threw to make the touchdown that was called back. Sensational play, but that's something that he does in practice so that his teammates kind of are aware that may happen. And in a moment like that, it's crucial, and they could have won them the game had not Tony been lined up offsides. Those kind of plays are unbelievable. And when you talk about these plays, these teams, and these close games all around the National Football League. And let's face it, the league wants every game within 1 or 2 points at the end of it, and they want everybody to be 9-8 or 8-9 at the end of the season. It's a parity-driven league. But here is a consequence of that, and this is a great year for it. 6 teams are 7-6 in the AFC. 6. There are 6 teams lined up for 2 spots, and the Cleveland Browns are 8-5. They're 1 game above all those teams. So you have like 7. You have all these teams right there. The result of that parity is this: every single game comes down to a referee's call or a drop one play, and it's something we're going to have to live with. When the games are this close, one call by the official late makes a big difference. It brings it into focus. And it's not anything different than it ever has been, except that every single game is right there this year, and it is magnified by the meaningful effect it has on the game in that moment. It's the officials are no better or worse than they have ever been. But we notice it because those calls are always in tight games this year. There's so many tight games.
Most definitely. And I remember back in 2021, we were sitting here saying the same things. The Bills are 7-6, and what did they do in 2021? They won out. And hopefully this
in convincing
team
fashion,
can do that as well. The offense they've started to figure it out. Now, it's the first game in the last 3 that they haven't gone over 30 points, and they did kind of stall out in the second half of this game. But under Joe Brady, Josh Allen is definitely looking more like himself. A big game ahead for the Bills, a home game against the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to have to get back to scoring close to 30 against a team that knows how to score a lot of points. All right, Sean McDermott is on the podium right now, so let's get right over to him.
Okay, good to get a win. Always good to win in the National Football League, in particular when you come here at Arrowhead against a good football team, led by Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Thought it was really good effort all across the board. Guys played hard. It was going to be back and forth as it was. We knew that, and we jumped out early, and then they came back and had some momentum. I think back half of the second quarter, and then somewhat into the third quarter and fourth, and we just stayed the course. And good to see the defense come out and seal the game. I thought that drive by the offense was important as well. So still things we can work on overall, but again, good win and. Proud of the guys.
Sean, can you maybe speak to all the turbulence that obviously was surrounding the building this week? Can you speak to what it was like behind the scenes that we don't see to get ready for this game?
Yeah, I mean, praise God, number one. I mean, just our guys were, the staff, the players, steadfast in their focus. I couldn't be more proud of a group. I really couldn't at this point in the regular season. To a person, they didn't flinch. They were focused. They supported one another. They supported me. And I don't take that for granted at all. And just super proud of those guys and just a resilient group.
To expand on that, what did this week mean personally for you just to get a win after all of that?
Yeah, I mean, again, just so thankful. I'm grateful for so many things. You know, so many people that reached out. Andy Reid, many of their staff after the game in particular. I know quite a few of their coaches and staff and their class acts, so I appreciate that. My family appreciates that. Just incredible support this week, in particular the last couple of days for myself, for my family, and that's what Buffalo's all about. I mean, we moved here six years ago, and the friends that we've made, the support that we've gotten. Before I came to the stadium, called my wife, and she's like, I continue to get texts from, you know, our neighbors, our friends in Buffalo, and couldn't be more thankful and more grateful for that.
Hey, Sean, to close this game out on defense, how much did it mean to see that?
Yeah, really proud of those guys. They went out there. They knew what they had to get done. I mean, the thing that's challenging, and you know, in addition to going against Patrick, is the field goal kickers. As you know, he's one of the best. I think he's made one from 60 plus already this season, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're defending a small window of grass right there. And we were aggressive. We were staying aggressive, and the guys responded, and we got them behind the sticks there, and the guys closed it out.
How quickly were you aware that the guy was offside on the touchdown play?
Well, you know what, to be honest, I wasn't sure. We were in man-to-man. I thought someone was yelling, we got picked, and then, as the play unfolded, I think it was Kels that was wide open there, and the play after he caught the ball was, I've never seen a play like that, not in the NFL, you know. But thankful, and then I saw the referees signaling that direction, so I didn't know if it was a pick or what it was, and then it turned out to be the offside. So.
Can you take us through some detail of the last 2 minutes in terms of what your mindset was, or your philosophy, what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to be aggressive. That's how we practiced it during the week. We studied it over the bye week. We studied it long, and the staff, I thought, did a great job. It was very thorough in terms of the research we did, and then we practiced it that way. And so started practice on Wednesday with a 2-minute drill like we normally do, then added another 2-minute drill live with the offense at the end of practice on Wednesday, and it pays off, right? So guys were comfortable in that situation, and they executed at a high level.
What did you learn in your research?
I mean, the list is it's long, but at the same time, I just went back to studying, going back all of our 2 minutes this year, all of my 2 minutes as a play caller over the years. Teams that did it well have done it well this year, so it was rather extensive, and it's never really one thing, Tim. Being honest with you, it's you get a good sample of, hey, this team's doing that, and then you get some teams that, quite honestly, there's people wide open, and guys are dropping balls, and so you like to catch a break once in a while, and so it's a combination of things. I don't have a clear answer for you. I got a lot of things going through my head as it relates to the 2-minute in particular, but just thought the guys came out, and then when you get the, I think it was the sack on third down or something like that we got there, or close to a sack, and staying with rush and forward, Patrick usually does a good job extending plays in those situations in the critical moments, and we were able to collapse the pocket on him where he threw it, and got the incomplete to win it.
Did you feel Joe put you in a little bit of a precarious spot with the play calling before the 2-minute warning? You could have gotten it down to the 2 if you just run on first down, probably.
Yeah, I mean it's a balance. It's a delicate balance there. You got to know who you're playing on the other side too. Are you playing for 3 or are you playing for 7 and trying to make it that type of game? Whenever you're going against an elite quarterback and an elite offense, you've got to stay aggressive too. So it is a balance. I thought the offense did some really good things tonight.
Sean, what did you see out of game today? What did he bring to the offense?
Yeah, I thought he rebounded from last week in terms of the passing game, and that showed up in practice. Like I mentioned earlier in the week, he's growing, he's developing. It's a joy as a coach to watch a player continue to take steps in terms of his development.
Sean, Micah's injury, is that more of the same? Is that some?
I don't know. I don't know anything else at this point. I just know he was out of the game, and so I don't know where that stands right now.
I know one of the things that you talk about often is always being right here, never riding away.
Yeah.
How hard was that this week, though?
Yeah, I mean, the players, I thought, set a great example of it, led by Josh, Micah, our captains. Like you guys have probably heard when we left that meeting, that follow-up meeting that we had on, I guess that would have been Thursday. They were again steadfast. They weren't flinching. They knew. They just knew what the vision was moving forward, and they set a great example. And so, there was some moments for me, quite honestly, where I had to deal with some other things. Obviously, more than I would have liked to, in terms of taking my eyes off of film and whatnot. But the staff did a phenomenal job of picking up the slack when I wasn't there.
When you see everybody rally behind you like that, smile.
Yeah, I mean, it's they mean the world to me, and they showed their care, appreciation, love for me and my family. And this is professional sports; you don't get that everywhere. And the Buffalo community, same thing. It's like I said, we moved here 6 years ago. It's not like we've been here our entire lives, and they've just embraced us, and so we're so grateful as a family.
Hey, John, last one, please. Josh is third down for a right finding the penalties. How unique of a play is it for a quarterback to sort of know where he is on the field and find
Yeah, I mean, that was how we drew it up in the playbook, really. He's got an unbelievable feel, and I mean, to know where I think he did something earlier with Dalton in the game as well, and he makes some plays that very few, if anyone, in the league can make, and so that's part of what makes him special.
Thank
you. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that was our head coach, Sean McDermott, and it was great to see how this team, how this group, how this community has kind of made a force field around Sean, giving him a big hug this week, as it's been a harder week for the Buffalo community, for the players, and for our head coach, Sean McDermott. But amazing to see them get a win out of this, have some momentum going into the final 4 weeks of the NFL's regular season in the 2023 season. But Steve, another crazy week here in Buffalo.
Yeah, and certainly Sean alluded to it, that he had some things that he had to take care of that were outside his normal routine of watching film and stuff. He had to, address some things, and I'm sure on a different level, he had some things personally he had to take care of. Whenever things happen to guys in Sean's, like we saw the article come out, he's got to address his family as well, because they got to live in Buffalo. And so he has probably got a wife and children that he's got to ease through. Head coach got some broad shoulders. He can probably handle it a little better than his family has been trained to do or gotten used to doing. So there's probably some of that going on. Certainly inside the building, the people in this building, I would venture to wager they were all about making sure he knew they appreciated him. His credentials, as you said, he's the second winningest head coach in the franchise's 60-plus year history. His credentials speak for themselves, but you're still a human being and you've got some things to do. So when in a game like this, in an awkward week like this, when he had to, extra press conference, different kinds of questions, to come out and like I said, both these teams are kind of leaning on big time quarterbacks. This is a head coach, an established head coach in the NFL, who acknowledged, I think, in his press conference how much he leaned on his staff this week. And certainly they came through with flying colors.
Yeah, and we heard quite a few players this week speak so highly of Sean McDermott, what he means to them, what he has meant to this team over the last few seasons, the culture that he changed when he came in here, the playoffs that he has led this team to season after season, the AFC East crowns that they have gotten for the last few years in a row. I could go on about what he's done here in Buffalo and how much he means to not only the players, but to the business side of the staff. I know we think very highly of him.
Yeah, we do. It permeates the entire building. There's a little bit of blurry line between all the football stuff that goes on, and then there's ticket sales, and there's marketing, and there's us in the media, and it's a big operation over here. But I would say Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, Terry, Kim, the management team here at One Bills Drive is as much of a team as anything you'll see on in between the lines. This is a team that really there's a lot of respect flying around this building, and it's not for nothing. People earn it.
There are incredible people inside of this building, and a big reason why is because of Sean McDermott. Before we close out tonight, we want to get over to Chris Brown with our insider's take on how the Bills defense was able to stop things.
The Bills saw a 10-point lead in the second half turn into a tie game with 11 minutes remaining. After Buffalo's offense was able to stage a successful field goal drive to retake the lead 20-17, it was on the defense to close it out late. Well, the Bills were fortunate to see a hook and ladder touchdown by the Chiefs get called back on penalty. The pass rush came through on 3 consecutive plays. Von Miller got a hit on Mahomes to force an incompletion. Ed Oliver batted down a pass on the next play for an incompletion, and Leonard Floyd got a quarterback pressure to force the final incompletion and a turnover on downs on 4th and 15 to let the offense kneel it out for a season-saving victory to improve to 7-6 on the season. At Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, I'm Chris Brown for Bills Postgame Live.
All right, thanks, Brownie. It was all about the defensive line in that final series. They have had a heck of a season, top 5 in sacks, top 5 in quarterback hits, as they continue to pressure and get to the quarterback. All right, next up for the Bills is a home game. I feel like we haven't been at home in forever. It's been almost a month since the Bills have played at home, but it's a big game against the Dallas Cowboys. So what do the Bills need to do this week to get right for another huge game?
Here's what needs to happen. Everybody needs to watch the Dallas-Philly game tonight, and obviously hope that it doesn't go well for Dallas. I don't know. You came out of this game relatively healthy. Micah Hyde got a stinger. It seems like other than that, they came out fairly well. You want to get healthy. You want to come in and play well at home. Hope for good weather. I think it benefits this team more than it does the Cowboys. And, if the Bills play to their potential, we all know they're going to be fine. But I think this is more about, at this point, for both these teams, and I think the Cowboys will feel this way too. It's about them. If you play your game and don't let the other team get you out of your game, you feel like you can win. But that's also, part of your game is getting the other team out of there. So, I think this, coming down the stretch, winning in Kansas City was absolutely enormous. Coming home against the Cowboys team, I think the Bills are going to be favored in that game. There's no question about it. They play really well here. It's a different animal when they come in here. I think you can expect this team to score 30 coming in here at home, even against a really good defense like Dallas. I just think the rest of these games are going to be like this game today and the one we're going to see this Sunday.
Thankfully for the Bills, the stats at home have been enormously in Buffalo's favor versus the stats when the Bills are on the road. So hopefully they can keep that going and improve the stats on the road as they did tonight. The Bills are now 2-5 on the road if you count that London game. They've got a couple more road games ahead as they round out the regular season. Final for the Bills tonight, 20-17 victory over the Chiefs. Ticketmaster is the presenting sponsor of the Buffalo Bills 2023 season. Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NFL. If you guys want more interviews, more highlights, and more breakdown of this game, you can head to MSG at 11:30 for a different version of this show called Bills Tonight. But for now, we're going to say goodbye from our studio here at One Bills Drive. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you guys next week after the Cowboys game.